Hey folks, this is Mary Ellen, and today is August the 13th, Tuesday. We've just gone live. Larry will be with us as soon as possible. I sent him sorry, I've got to turn the volume down, sorry. I just sent him the link so he can come in. We're using StreamYard. It's a new, we used to use Google Hangouts and YouTube stopped using that. They're using the StreamYard is working now. He just finished the show with Jason, and so I just sent him, I was taking notes, so I just sent him the link to get here. So we'll see how quickly he shows up. I've got, hey, and I had.
Do you hear me? I am here.
Yeah, you're here, and I hear you, and I had you on mute, and I'm sorry I didn't realize that.
That's all right.
I didn't look that it started out muted. The volume's way too loud for me. Folks, just if the volume is too loud, let me know. If it's okay, let me know. So we're both here. So, all right, go ahead, Larry. Take it away. I just already announced the date, so we're fine.
Well, just finished, of course, with Jason, and pretty much as we had anticipated, everybody's going nuts over the Epstein death, and it's getting more and more absurd every day, and it will get worse every day still. But I would caution everyone to just know the difference between what people are putting out on the internet and the truth. For example, Mary Ellen, we literally had a person during that program, if you heard, that came in with some kind of fake name saying that he had Epstein's black book, or what I call the black book. Now, I told the guy he was lying. He didn't. But this kind of stuff is going to occur. We have far greater problems than the death of Epstein. Far greater. But in a way, it connects to him. You know, guys, if you think about it, here's a man who obviously had dealings with some of the most powerful and influential people in this country and even in the world. He did. And because of the dealings he had with these people, a lot of people could lose their power. And at that level, they don't lose power. And it shows you the corruption that exists in our government today. In our government. I don't have any doubt, that's my opinion, I have no doubt that Epstein didn't just kill himself like they said. I cannot prove he was murdered. You know, it's not my job to prove it. But I don't believe he committed suicide. I think for all of the mistakes that apparently had to happen in the system for him to be able to kill himself is bizarre. It's absurd. It's not even possible. Every fail-safe system that prison has on this occasion, every one of them had to fail. Every one of them. And that you could understand, except when you have a high-profile prisoner like Epstein, instead of all the systems failing, they should have been tightened up just naturally, just because of who he was. but it shows the capacity inside our government, Mary Ellen, inside our government, the capacity to pull off a cover-up of this magnitude. It should scare people. It should. Now, if anybody has any questions, please start getting them in. I figure a lot of people have questions about whatever.
Yeah, Rindy said she's concerned the Democrats are suggesting the Supreme Court could be changed. Is that because they're talking about reopening the appointment of Kavanaugh, or do you?
Now say that again. What did you say?
Rindy said, I'm very concerned that the Democrats are now suggesting the Supreme Court could be changed. Now, I've heard rumors that they want to reopen the appointment of Kavanaugh, the hearings for his appointment.
Once again, I believe that is just wild conspiratorial talk. I don't think that's true. Now, the part about the Supreme Court changing,
she said, Larry, she said Fox News was reporting it. So,
well, the news of the change with the Supreme Court is a result, if they are successful in transforming our form of government. The Supreme Court will change. Its role will change. Accordingly, its makeup will obviously change. If they achieve total control, by that I mean the presidency, the Senate, and the House, if they achieve that, then they'll be able to realign everything. Everything. Every branch of government from the top to the bottom. And they are truly planning to win. And they are truly planning with that victory to pull off this transformation. This is talk that is serious, unlike ever before in history. These people are so certain that it's going to happen now, that I would not doubt that some people get loose-mouthed and start bragging about some of the changes they suspect will come.
Now, what happens? I know that federal government changes. What happens then at the state level if they win?
Well, if they transform our form of government, nothing will be the same. And state governments will be bound, if nothing else by force, essentially, to conform. There will be no place to hide. There will be no protection. Now, there will be states that buck. There will be states that protest. But I don't believe it'll do any good. States have made the deadly mistake of becoming so leveraged with federal monies that most states cannot function without the additional funds brought in by the federal government. So at that point, believe it or not, a state is subservient to the federal government, whether they want to be or not.
Well, California certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that they're pretty socialistic already.
Well, I don't know. I've never sat down and tried to figure it, but I would imagine maybe the only state that's not, or one of the few states that's not totally bound to the federal government financially, might be Texas. They seem to be capable financially of tending to their own business. But again, I don't know how much they are linked to the federal government and the money. States will fall in line, folks. And you must remember also that down within the states, within each and every state, there are people that are a part of the progressive movement, very well positioned and placed inside state governments.
Well, we certainly see even in Texas a lot of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
They're in quite a war over the state. All right, we've got several questions here, so we're going to go there.
All right.
Just to stay on this with the Supreme Court, Rindy said the headlines, Fox headline says SCOTUS, in other words, Supreme Court heals or we make changes. So that it says SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States heals, HEALS, heals or we make changes. So I suppose healing to them means flips back to liberal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A question about Epstein. Do you think they got all they needed from Epstein before he died?
No. No, they did not.
Okay.
More importantly, excuse me, to my knowledge, they have not received as yet, to my knowledge, his what I call black book. I think they're going through a process trying to get it. But in anticipation of him being caught, being prosecuted, Epstein and his legal people have done a good job of making it difficult for anybody, including the Attorney General of the United States of America, from being able to acquire some of the information that it holds.
Okay, another question. When Trump wins the next election, what will the demon rats do then?
Well, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I have long said that I fear, this is my opinion, guys, so don't go putting it out as fact. It is simply my opinion. I have for a long time feared that if they cannot beat President Trump in 2020, they will be compelled to eliminate him.
Well, you started saying that before he even got the nomination in July.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's exactly how I feel. They have got to remove him. And remember, removing him means us. This whole exercise, this whole problem we're into is about us. These people do not want we the people in America to have any say at all about how this country should be run. They believe that this small group of elitists are smarter than all of us combined, and that they know everything, and basically we know nothing. And so therefore they are obligated to take over and lead.
Such arrogance.
Mm-hmm. We're in, I've said it, maybe you don't believe me, but I've said it and I'll say it again. As far as our country is concerned, we're in the most perilous times we have ever faced. And it's not coming from an enemy abroad. It's not coming from Iran, Russia, China. None of those threats compare at all to the threat we face right here internally. You know, sometimes I think back on Khrushchev, you know, slamming his shoe in front of the UN. He said it back then, you know, you'll be destroyed from within. And we are. That's exactly what's happening. And there is a thin line of people, a thin line of people, of which we, all of us here, are a part, that are obligated to try to stop it. And that's what we'll do. We will stop it. But it'll require all of us doing everything we can, working together to protect the sanctity, the honor, the history, and the future of our country. And if you can't do it for yourself, if you don't want to do it for yourself, maybe you feel like from now until the rest of your life you will be okay, that's fine. But I wish you would think about others. Think about the young. You know, so many in this audience listening to me right now, I would assume all of you are fervently against abortion, aren't you? Aren't y'all against abortion? Why? Because you think those babies have a right to live. They're human beings. They have a life. They have a right to live. They have a right to life. Well, with that same emotion and passion, they have a right to have a future. They do. They have at least minimally the right to a future that all of us have enjoyed through our lives. But nobody's going to give it to them. Nobody's going to pass it on to them.
Well, I think that's Larry, I think that's one reason the millennials have that kind of an attitude, is they think they deserve what we've had and they want even better. And that's why they're so pulled in by socialism, because they think they're getting, that the government is going to continue to give them all the gimmies they got from parents.
Maybe, but y'all, the social engineering that the millennials have gone through, this first complete generation, the ones that from the day they went to school till the day they got out, they were just totally in a psyops program, psychological operation, where they were being what we call brainwashed. They're brainwashed to believe that there is this better way, a better way for the country to run than the way it has been run. And it's not really based off specificity. So, I mean, it's not like there's one thing that they think should be better or could be better. They can't give you that one thing. They just think what they have been trained to believe. That socialism, this new democratic socialism, is the answer. And it leads to this euphoria that they think exists somewhere. And they're so brainwashed. The social engineering has been so complete that they don't listen. They don't listen to anybody trying to tell them otherwise. They don't even believe the truth when they see it. Nothing can change them. That's why I'm so careful to try to warn. You know, You can try. There are millennials that are catching on. There are millennials that are conservative, that have been brought up in good homes, good parents, responsibly. There are, but they're hard to find. And I just caution us all to be careful with our commitment of time, wasting it trying to convince them otherwise, because they are solidly brainwashed. Solidly. Anybody got a question, Mary Ellen?
Before we do another question, I'm going to say thank you, Michael. Everybody hit the like button, please. And at some point, please share it on social media. Michael, you're saying something about music too. Would you like us to play some of Gary's music? Is that what you're suggesting at the beginning, or what are you saying about music? While we're waiting for him to answer that question, let me scroll up and see. I saw something else here. Will Pence continue being Trump's running mate? Trump already, Trump already announced that he is. The Epstein Peter ring is actually a Mossad Israeli operative ring, which goes back decades. Maxwell, the daughter of Robert Maxwell, was the control operative of Epstein.
That kind of stuff here again, that's getting off into a world that I refuse to go. I don't know. I don't know that any of us know. But what's scary is be careful. All I can say to everyone is be careful. Be careful with things like that, because it leads to a whole bunch of talk and chatter and excitement, and for the inquiring minds that want to be entertained, they want a murder mystery, they want all this intrigue, etc., etc. There is a real murder mystery in his death. There is real intrigue into the people that he associated with. There really is enough to fill anybody's conspiracy habit times 10. But we don't need to breed it. We don't need here on this program to talk about stuff like that. I would hope that when we come here, that we come for the purpose of the business at hand. The business at hand is saving America. The business at hand is trying to realize the overall problem. Epstein's just a symptom of the overall problem. If they want to whack somebody, they can. They do it and they get by with it. As I was on with Jason, we talked about an example with Vince Foster. I don't believe that was a suicide. No way. But they did that in front of the whole world and got by with it. To be honest, I don't believe JFK. The truth was told about it. I'm not sold on the idea that Oswald did it by himself. I'm not. But they did that in front of the whole world and got by with it. As a matter of fact, the death of John Fitzgerald Kennedy set the stage for what we have today. That was a case where it was proven to the powerful, that they can eliminate somebody as important and as big as the President of the United States and get by with it. They can fabricate a story, make it anything they want, and as long as the media and everybody goes along with it, guess what? It'll fly. And that's when our world changed. That's when the world changed with the death of Kennedy. And ever since then, it's just been a steady regression. Whatever they want to do, they do. Today, we have the advantage that I didn't have 30 years ago. I tried to tell people 30 years ago that the media was just an instrument to do what they needed done. I was destroyed by every media in the free world. I mean, I was on the front page of every publication in the free world. And if you don't believe me, like I said on Jason's program earlier, I don't talk about it, but I guess I need to. For those of you that think I might not be legitimate, get Clinton's biography, My Life, I think's the name of it. Jason said there's the name of it. And whose name is mentioned in it 3 times? Mine. That's nothing to brag about. He didn't write good about me, thank God. I won't even write bad about me. But all of the people today that were there then that claimed they had such a big role in helping to expose Clinton for what he was, isn't it odd that they didn't get mentioned? I did, but they didn't. The reason they didn't is because they didn't have anything to do with it. But I got roasted. I got destroyed. And it lingers still today.
Well, I don't think it lingers in this group, Larry, thankfully.
Well, that's true. Thanks to y'all. Thanks to your forgiveness. But folks, it's been going on for some time. And at least now today, we can all join together and see that the media is a part of the organization that's trying to overthrow this country. Today, everybody should be able to see that. But the problem is we have become so polarized.
Oops, we lost you, Larry. What happened? Well, we have become very polarized, and that is very dangerous. I'm going to text Larry and see what happened so he knows. Did I hit something? Larry, just a second. Something's gone wrong. I don't know what's going on. Nope, you got to call him again. So, lost you. Hit the link again. I don't know what happened, but we lost him. So Nadler has filed for oral arguments, not impeachment, but he's talking impeachment. So that's certainly, sorry, I dropped my pen, what he wants. There we go, add to stream.
Do you hear me?
You're
I'm back.
I don't know what. Yeah, we hear you.
I just said I lost the connection. Just said I lost the connection. No panic.
Okay. All right. Back to some questions. Just FYI, Rindy said the Democratic governor of Illinois just signed a bill that teachers do not have to pass a basic skills test to teach now. Somebody named Investigator says they've been planning it a long time. Did they let it slip when you knew them, Larry? I'm not sure who they are or what he's talking about. It's not very.
I don't understand either. So whoever that is, please straighten out the question for me.
He did say later, I feel the Clintons started the process when they left Arkansas. I think you have said over and over they started this when they got into the governor's mansion and took it to Washington with them, and it just has grown since then.
When Bill went to Washington, he took the system that we had in Arkansas and he took it with him to Washington. And in a matter of no time, virtually no time, that town responded and fell trapped to it. And now it's here forever. Now it's there. But that's where it came from. It came officially when Bill came. And if you'll recall, back when Bill Clinton took office, a whole bunch of senators and congressmen resigned or switched parties. And it was because the Clintons made it quite clear you either do what we say or we'll destroy you. And so they had no choice but to either get out. In some cases, like Trent Lott and others, they switch parties. And when they switch parties, they all use the same mantra saying, I didn't leave the Democratic Party, it left me. I don't think we realize today, most of us, what the Democratic Party was like pre-Bill Clinton. There were conservatives in the Democratic Party. There were. And you had the blue dog, yellow dog Democrats. You had conservative Democrats. I mean, it was diversified. As a matter of fact, the Democratic Party was probably more conservative early on in Clinton than the Republican Party. But it changed when he got there. And now we're fighting. Now, that's why we don't have the support and the trust that we should have from the Republican Party. Because the majority of the Republican Party are part of this elitist group that want to be a part of this elite committee when the country falls. Because everybody that's in the loop, when the country goes down, they will be fixed forever. They and their families. And they know it.
Unless you cross them.
Mm-hmm.
So one more question. Do you think Attorney General Barr, if Attorney General Barr doesn't push to impeach Trump, will he be taken out of his position?
If he doesn't do what? If he doesn't go after impeaching Trump?
If he doesn't push to impeach Trump, I think what Paul means is if he doesn't cooperate with Congress to impeach Trump, will they impeach Barr and take him out of office?
They will try. They've already laid some of the early groundwork to do just that. But I don't think, or at least nothing I have seen thus far, makes me believe that Barr is too concerned about them doing that.
Good.
There's a limit to what Congress can do to the Attorney General. There is a limit. The only one that can absolutely get rid of him at any time is the president. It's the president. So imagine, even if they did somehow come up with a motion or cause to impeach, it would have to go to Trump to get his signature, and he would have to sign it, and he won't. So rest assured, he's there as long as Trump chooses for him to be there. And I will say this to y'all, William Barr and Durham, they're not the problem. Now, they're not exclusively the panacea either. They're not the answer to the problem. They're only a part of the fight, the resistance to save the country. They're just a part of it. We are equally responsible as him.
And when you live in a blue state like I do, saying we are equally responsible gets kind of scary because too many people around where I live think socialism is the way to go or don't believe that it's really coming. And that's pretty scary.
I know. Look, we have enough people today to withstand this movement to topple our country. We do. We have enough people today. 4 years from now, I don't know that that'll be true. But today, we do. But it requires us getting everyone on our side involved and engaged. And if we're not engaged, it won't happen.
Larry, wait back up a minute. You said we have enough people to topple, or you mean to stop?
To stop. We have enough people today to stop them from toppling our government. We do. But it requires all of us, all of the people on our side, which basically boils down to the Trump hard base and the Trump soft base, engaging and staying together and fighting it. Without that, we're toast. And what I said also was, in 4 years, or in 2004, I don't know that will be true.
24.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll tell you, with what they are doing right now with all their plans, as you have said, I think it's important to say again that there are many people who are sure that Trump can win for their list of reasons. But the fact remains that the Democrats are working very, very, very hard with so many tricks they've never used before to see that he doesn't win. And that really puts us in a bad position with our soft base, because they're looking for any excuse not to help.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. There are no more questions here, Larry, and you've already been on for
an hour
and 5 minutes.
Look, I don't want to come here and just lecture y'all. That's not what I want to do. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them.
Oh, goodness.
It's very important.
There are more questions, and I didn't realize I hadn't. Okay, sorry. I was I
had. Got?
Yeah.
What do you got?
It says he took the scam, the crookedness, the murders, and all his friends to start the process of corruption. Hillary set up the socialism through the State Department. Do you think ADFA was the start to embezzle through the Clinton Foundation?
It was. It was one of the systems they used that they carried from Arkansas into the Clinton Foundation. It was. They did things in the foundation that, of course, we couldn't have done with ADFA back when I was there. But they did take the strategy, generally, of ADFA and moved it to Washington and used it with their foundation. And basically what I'm saying there, the whole scam of the Arkansas Development Finance Authority, the place to which I was the marketing director, the whole scam was that we used that as a way to get people to make big contributions to Bill Clinton running for governor in exchange for benefits, various types, from the government, from the state. And then when they set up the Clinton Foundation, that's exactly what it did. It took contributions to the foundation. And in turn, when you made a significant contribution to the foundation, the Clinton administration responded in kind in many cases, not all, but in many. And they did things for the countries or the people or the businesses that made those contributions. You see, when you're president and you control all the different government organizations, you can do favors for people. And that's what they did.
Like Tyson in the Alaska.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What do you think will be the final outcome in the end for the Epstein case? Will we get any real justice?
What will be the outcome in the Epstein case? Will we get final justice? I'm going to tell you straight up, my opinion, that's all it is, it's all it's worth, is no. Right now, the Epstein matter is prominent. It's prominent, will be for the next several days or maybe even a couple of 3 weeks. But lurking is what I've warned y'all about. Coming soon are riots, violence at levels we've never seen in this country, or if we have, we haven't seen them since the 50s and 60s with the blacks, having to do with, segregation, integration, and all that. We're going to see that again. And when that starts, the Epstein matter will go so far back on the back burner that you'll never even think about it. And to that end, it'll go away.
And you do know that this is probably starting this weekend in Portland, right? Portland, Oregon. They've got the riots. They've got this huge Antifa protest planned for Saturday and this weekend in Portland. And there have been ads that people have seen and reported for people to be part of the staged to do.
I haven't seen any of that. I would warn all of you that when it starts, don't believe it. A lot of it is just what I've told you before, is staged. Soros has got people that are going to dress up, look like, act like conservatives, Trump people, MAGA people, and they're going to engage in violence, therefore blaming it on Trump, with the ultimate goal of anybody that is for Trump presently, you're going to be shunned by everybody for daring to speak out. See, that's the way this works. They're going to turn your families against you. They're going to turn your friends against you. I mean, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Now, is it going to be in Portland? Is that the first of it? I don't know.
Okay, do you personally think the Clintons will be held accountable for their evil deeds to the American people?
No, but having said that, I do believe if everything is allowed to go forward and we win in 2020, that Hillary will be brought to justice for what she did, having to do with the, internet stuff that she destroyed, etc. But remember, there's something everybody's got to remember. Comey gave her and most all of her immediate upper staff, gave them a pass in perpetuity where they cannot be charged ever for anything they did having to do with smashing the thing and destroying all the emails and such as that. Those cases are closed. They can't be opened. Now, having said that, Barr has things that were not included in this giant permission slip that they were given that he can proceed forward with.
Well, we can't be upset about what can or cannot be included in her prosecution if something can be prosecuted, because if you think of, the name just slipped my mind, the big mafia guy in Chicago, they didn't get him on a lot of the things that we thought, but he still ended up.
You're talking about Al Capone.
Yeah, that's the name, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions out there?
Where did the Podestas go?
Where did what?
The Podestas go.
They're living free and at large, but they're still around. But they are not relevant anymore. The country has grown past them. The progressive movement doesn't need them anymore. Most all of that group, for your information, folks, is over. They did their part to destroy this country, but they're finished. They're not players today. We have a whole new cast of players that are probably more dangerous than even they were. Anybody else?
Yeah, MSNBC lied and stated that President Trump is talking about shooting the illegals at the border. Have other MSM followed that narrative?
Well, once again, what I've tried to tell y'all is we now at least have the luxury, if you want to call it that, of knowing that the media is all in. They're not hiding it anymore. And putting out scurrilous statements like that is unconscionable for any reputable media source. But it's the new world we live in today, where the media is going to make outlandish claims and get by with it. But remember, this is where it gets complicated for you. To people like us, we see those kind of claims as hurtful, resentful, in some cases dangerous, but we know it's not true. But what should scare you to the bone, to their audience, their 50% of the nation, that's all they get is what they say. That stuff's That's what's scary. That stuff is true.
That's your phone?
Hello?
You're still on live with us, Larry, just so you know. Okay, he had to get off and take that call. He's working, folks. This is what he does. And there are times when he has to be able to take the call. Sometimes he's in places where he cannot take important calls. So he's trying to come back. Let's see if we can get him on.
Are you there? I got knocked off again. All right. Sorry about that. Any other questions?
Yeah, you're here.
Any other questions?
Yeah, when the riots start, yes, when the riots start through Soros, will the media still be intact to report the truth?
No. Media is going to do exactly what they are scheduled to do. They are going to report that conservative, wild, crazy Trump people, deplorables, did it, went violent. And then they're going to warn that you better be careful. Wherever you see mega people, you better watch out, because they're going to be gun carrying, gun toting, potential killers walking around with you. And by the way, I do want to say, I'm very disappointed in that Ivanka Trump is running around Congress, I am told, by a couple of congressmen, and trying to get Republicans to go along with red flag laws.
Oh boy. So she's the one behind all that, not Trump.
She's the one behind it, not him. President Trump is interested in one thing, which is he would be willing to expand background checks, not to expand them, but to better make the system work. But he is not, as of this moment, in favor of red flag laws at any level, because he knows what it leads to.
Good.
Any other questions?
Well, it concerns me that Ivanka sometimes is very millennial. Says Breitbart tracked over 600 violent attacks against Trump supporters since the election. Well, yeah, but things are going to change now.
Well,
Change.
you know, those attacks against Trump people, 600 or however many there have been, didn't happen. If they didn't get reported, they didn't happen. If people don't know about them, they don't happen. Yes, they do happen, but no, people don't know about it. But you can bet, just like you saw in El Paso, if there's any way under the sun with anything that could hurt Trump, they will link it to him. Even if it's the most absurd remote connection you can even imagine, they will do it.
Let's see. Here's another one I'm going to answer. Why is it so important to watch America burn? Because that's what they need to do to bring in communism and socialism.
Well, let me answer that. One of the tricks that have been, not say a trick, one of the things that they have been planning and anticipating, which is why Congress is not functioning right now. You'll notice because of the border or whatever other excuse they can come up with, you'll notice nothing is coming out of Congress that helps America in any way. They're not voting on stuff. They're not bringing stuff to the floor. Nothing. The plan is so that they can show the millennials what they have been telling them is going on, that our present form of government does not work anymore, that our constitutional representative form of government can't work anymore because it's outdated. The founding fathers, as they will tell you, didn't have computers, telephones, TV, etc. Today, we have got to modernize our form of government, which is why we need to transform our form of government to a system that better works in today's world. And so any and everything they can do to validate that principle, they're doing.
Okay, last question. No more, folks, so don't type anymore. Is Trump going to continue fighting the New World Order?
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's it for
He is. He is committed. He's committed for no other reason, guys. For no other reason. He's committed to doing what he promised and pledged the American people he would do going back to his election. One thing I have learned about President Donald Trump, it would kill his soul to violate his word that he gave the American people. It would kill him. He can't allow that to happen. That's one of the reasons that you notice he doesn't really do what people would say a good job of negotiating with the Democrats, et cetera, because he's not going to, because any negotiation he has with the Democrats usually leads to him in some form or fashion having to break his word that he gave all of us in his campaign. And he's not going to do it. He's not that kind of a man.
That is, for all the things that people want to criticize him for, that is something that we need to hang on to and share with others, because that's really important for us to get behind. There's one other comment. The USA, is that your phone?
Yeah, somebody's calling and I can't take it, but I can't hang up on it, because if I do, it'll hang up on me. So
okay, well, just
bear with me. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I'm just going to the U.S. long ring. The USA needs righteous Christians in government, and I'm going to say amen to that. And folks, if you think you have what it takes to run, we need you to run. We need part of our team here running for office so that we can replace these lifetimers, career politicians. They need to go. And it's important that we get new people in during the primary, because it's kind of late to, by November, it's strictly Republican versus Democrat, whereas at the primary, it's incumbent versus somebody new. And we need new, good people, not new people who are going to be of the ilk of Talib and Omar.
Well, let's do this, Mary Ellen. It's time for me to get off. Folks, be here tomorrow, 2 o'clock. If you can, invite others. We must grow this group. Now, if there's something I'm not doing, if there's something you would rather me do than the way we're doing it, I don't know that I can change what I do or how I do it, but if it's important, I guess I got to try. But if you have suggestions, get them to Mary Ellen, text them to her or whatever, email them, and I'll do what I can. But it is so important that you come here, because as best I can, what you will hear here will be true. Absolute truth, as best I can possibly know it to be. And when I tell you things here, I do everything I can to make sure that it's right. We don't have the time to make big mistakes here.
Yeah.
If we're going to grow an audience, if people are going to come here, they're going to come because, I hope like you do, that they get to hear things that maybe they don't hear with other programs. So many of the other programs, as y'all know, are basically aggregators. They just take the same thing and twist it and tell it their way. Here, you there? I lost
Okay,
you
you're
again.
back. I don't know what. Yeah,
Well,
they can see me but can't hear me. I don't know what's going on. I can hear you, so
okay. Well, let's just say goodbye for today. I think my phone's just overloaded. It's awfully warm, awfully hot.
yeah.
All right, then. Till tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Larry.
Bye.